Hi, it's me, Cheryl, from Story Values, where we travel the world through stories and our imaginations. Let's begin with the welcome song. If you know it, you can sing it with me. Hello, I'm so glad you're here for the storyteller's journey. Hello, I'm so glad you've come to join me for a story. My name's Cheryl, that's my name. Could you say hello, Cheryl? Thank you. Now I feel very welcomed. Hello, I'm so glad you're here to join me for a story. What's your name? Can you say your name? Wonderful, I'm so glad you're here. Hello, I'm so glad you're here for the storyteller's journey. Excellent. That's our welcome song, and I welcome you to our story time. When I tell stories, I always bring my magic story bag. And inside are wonderful stories from all over the world. To find out which story we're going to have, we'll say the story bag poem. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Story bag, what have you to say? Story bag, what's in you today? We have an ear of corn. This is a story inspired by a Cherokee tale called The Ghost Dog. It's a little scary, but I'm going to need you to help with this story. It's not too scary. You'll be fine. In the story, we need the two things. We need the sound of a ghost dog, which sounds like this. Howl! So you can help me by making that sound. And then there's another part in the story where I need the help of brave children. Now, if you'd like to be the brave children or a brave child in this story, I'm going to need you to help me scare the ghost dog. I'll tell you what to do when we're in that part of the story, all right? But just know that you can participate with this. All right, story ears open, story mouths quiet, story buckles buckled, and let us begin. Once upon a time, long ago, there were no grocery stores. That meant people had to grow food in their gardens. An old couple grew lots of corn all summer long. In the autumn, they took half of the corn and dried it in the hot autumn sun. Once it was hard, they ground the corn kernels and turned it into corn flour. They put the corn flour in a barrel, and they kept the barrel outside with a lid on it. That way, they could use that corn flour all winter long to make cakes and stews and soups and breads. That would keep them alive during the winter. Now, one night when they were in their house, it was late, and they heard a scary noise. They heard, can you do this with me? We're going to howl. They heard, howl! They looked outside, but they didn't see anything. And they heard that noise again. Ready? Howl! It was a scary noise. But in the morning, it was quiet. They went outside to get some of their corn flour so they could make their pancakes for breakfast. But when they got out to the corn barrel, they noticed that the lid had been knocked off and someone had taken some of their corn flour. Oh no, they said, if someone keeps taking our food, we won't have enough to survive the winter. What are we going to do? They had a brave grandson who said, I'll go outside tonight and I'll hide behind a tree and I'll watch the corn barrel. And if anyone tries to take our food, I'll say, stop, please. So that night, the brave grandson went outside and hid behind the corn barrel. When it was very late, around midnight, he heard that scary noise again. Can you make that noise again with me? Howl! He looked over at the woods and saw a big white light. It was coming right out of the woods, and it was huge, and it was shaped like a dog, but he could see right through it. It was a ghost dog. The ghost dog ran over the corn barrel, knocked over the lid, and started to eat. When its muzzle was full of corn flour, it went running back into the woods. The boy was terrified. In the morning, he told his grandparents what he had seen, and they said, "A ghost dog? How do we get rid of a ghost dog?" Now, they were lucky because they lived in a village that had a wise woman who knew everything, and she happened to look a lot like me. Now, the wise woman said, "A ghost dog is a creature that lives up in the nighttime sky. A ghost dog lives up in the stars, and if it comes down to the earth, it will eat all of our food unless we could scare it back up into the night sky where it belongs." Now, the only ones that can ever see creatures that live up in the stars are wise women and brave children. If you're a brave child, can you help? Tonight we'll go into the woods and hide behind our trees. And when I lift up my hand like that, that will be the signal for you to help me scare the ghost dog by saying, "Ay-ay-ay-yee, ay-ay-ay-yee, ay-ay-ay-yee," 3 times. So get ready. So that night they went into the woods, and all the children hid behind the trees. And when it was very late, around midnight, they all heard that scary noise. Can you make the noise again? Hoo! And out of the woods came running the ghost dog. The ghost dog knocked over the lid of the barrel and started to eat. When its muzzle was full of the corn flour, the wise woman raised her hand, and all the brave children said, "Ay-ay-ay-yee, ay-ay-ay-yee, ay-ay-ay-yee," 3 times. Very good. And the ghost dog was so startled, it jumped up into the nighttime sky. And the moment it did, it dropped the corn flour out of its mouth. Puh! And the moment that corn flour touched the night sky, it turned into hundreds of millions of billions of stars. Now, the ghost dog never came back down to the earth, but if you go outside at night and look up, sometimes you can see where the ghost dog spilled the corn flour, because it looks like someone had spilled a lot of flour in the sky. It also looks like someone has spilled milk. That's why some people call it the Milky Way, and some call it the cornflower way, because that's where the ghost dog spilled it many years ago. And there be my story, be it bitter or sweet. Take what you like, but leave enough for me to eat. Very nice. Wonderful. Now, I wonder what you thought about that story. I wonder if you were able to create images in your mind about what was happening in this story. I wonder if you were able to imagine what the ghost dog looked like. And I wonder if you were able to imagine what it looked like when the corn flour turned into millions of billions of stars. Wow. I wonder if you've ever seen the cornflower way, or if you've ever seen the Milky Way at night. Because when you look up at night, sometimes you can see all that white in the sky. And that's what we call the Milky Way, or the cornflower way. Now, many stories can teach us very positive lessons. They model very positive character values, and they have really nice lessons. I wonder what you think we could learn from this story. Now, another thing is that it's not a right or wrong answer. There's not one thing that you can learn from a story, because everyone can decide what a story means to them. I wonder what you think that we could learn from this story. I think, for me, in this story, it shows me the power of community, working together, Everyone helped one another. They helped take care of each other. And so they were able to work together to scare the ghost dog back to its home. And that way everyone was safe. So I like that story because it talks about the strength of community and how it's important to be together. All right, well that's our story for today, and I hope to see you another time. Let's sing our goodbye song. So long, bye-bye to you. So long, bye-bye to you. So long, bye-bye to you. So long, peace be with you. I hope to see you next time for another story.